EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for August 7th, 2024. Welcome to Wild Weather Wednesday, brought to you by Pure Sight and Sound. We've all seen the one where Wile E. Coyote paints a tunnel on a mountainside and then gets run over by Roadrunner. That silly coyote would have saved himself all the trouble of painting that tunnel if he only had a rollover laser TV from Pure Sight and Sound. Yeah, that's a real thing. With one press of a remote, a huge 120-inch screen unfurls out of the top of a gorgeous entertainment cabinet. A short-throw 4K laser projector slides out from the drawer, and instantly it's movie time. Amazing, lifelike images that would fool even the Roadrunner, even in rooms with lots of light or deserts. When the movie is finished, with another press of the remote button, everything vanishes back inside the stylish cabinet. Call Ed at 570-992-2992. There's the same number above here in the video, or visit them on the web at puresightandsound.com to learn about their amazing movie cabinet and try to fool that Roadrunner for yourself. They are Pure Sight and Sound Incorporated, proud sponsor of the Wednesday video forecast. A lot to talk about again, but we got rid of one major system yesterday because we had a stalled boundary over the region, or a boundary at least moving slowly through the region yesterday that caused a lot of convergence, a lot of heavy rain. Our messaging yesterday in the video was that we would have heavy rain as a primary threat, and that would be first and foremost, and that was exactly what happened yesterday. They did put an enhanced risk up yesterday for numerous severe thunderstorm watches across the region, but the severe part of it really didn't pan out for most areas. We did mention that it would be in isolated cases we'd have a few downbursts, and that was really all we had. It was down in the Harrisburg region where we had those wind reports, but everywhere else really not really living up to the expectations from the Storm Prediction Center for an enhanced risk day. So I didn't think it was going to be a severe weather yesterday in large part, except for something isolated that worked out. And the primary focus was going to be heavy rain. That also worked out. We had some areas get several inches of rain out of this, and some areas just got close, just in the 1 to 2 inch range. But we had some areas that had 3, 4, even 5 inches of rain in some areas. So we had a lot of rain with those training thunderstorms that we had, especially when you got up here close to the areas we targeted, which was basically I-78 between Harrisburg and Newark and all points in between, including the Lehigh Valley. That was a pretty good event yesterday as far as rain is concerned. So hopefully this is putting it should have put a big dent in some of and alleviating the drought concerns that are over the region, but we do have more coming over the next couple of days. Now, I will say that it is not what it appears to be. When we we see all these Facebook pages and social media sources putting out all these maps out for we're going to get 8 inches of rain from the end of the week, 4 to 8 inches of rain from the remnants of this tropical system down to the southeastern United States. We're like, pump the brakes a little bit. We'll see what happens in a couple days. And that ended up being the responsible thing to do, because we are not going to have that kind of rainfall in our region specifically, and these track changes are actually evident of that here in the last 24 hours. When I showed you this yesterday, it looked like it was going to be coming back and making a second landfall here somewhere near Myrtle Beach, heading up here like this and heading out to sea. And I did, in fact, show that in yesterday's video. Well, that is not the track today. So these are tropical systems and are guided by external forces. And in this case, they still have to follow the laws of physics. They can't do whatever they want. And if any of these other features that guide this system are delayed, we're going to have a delay also in where it goes. So everything follows the laws of physics. Everything is guided by something. So this particular system is sitting off the southeastern U.S. coastline still later today, and just sitting there and spinning because it has nowhere to go. There's no steering flow to really guide it. There will be a steering flow coming in as we head toward the weekend, and that's going to be an incoming trough. We'll get to that in a second. But this is going to move up to the north and east. Due north pretty much across North Carolina, Virginia, and look where it's going now. It's now going into western Pennsylvania for the heaviest rain, and it's going to track directly over top of our region instead of offshore. And the reason it's doing that is because this trough that's coming in is delayed. Remember that trough I drew yesterday? That is now delayed. this trough that's back here that's going to pick this up and send it northeast is delayed. So that allows this to come a little bit further west before it makes its turn. And that's going to go right over top of our region instead of offshore. So this has implications in the forecast a little bit. It's going to cut down on precipitation at the end of the week. We're still going to get a decent amount of rain from it. We're just not going to get a tremendous amount of rain where you're grabbing 2 of every animal, right? Like some people had you believe. But this is the heaviest rain actually is in western Pennsylvania. Now you will have, as this low moves by, some rain move through here that's going to move north and east through our region, but it's a shorter duration rainfall, and that's going to be mostly Friday evening and overnight as it does that. So it's going to be a shorter duration period of that heavier rain as that swings through, and this is going to be out here quite early. We think that when we get to Saturday morning, we're done. We're done completely. We have early clouds, maybe a leftover shower early in our northeastern areas, and then clouds give way to sun on Saturday. So Saturday's not going to be a bad day at all, and this is not going to be as bad as advertised. Here's the look at today, the next 2 days prior to this coming, because we're talking about Friday for that to affect us. Friday afternoon, evening, and part of the overnight, okay? That is what we're dealing with as far as the worst period across our region for the remnants of Tropical Storm Debby. This is today, however. We do have some scattered showers in the region. There is going to be a boundary off to our south, sitting out here like this. So above that, you're going to have some scattered showers. This is not going to be a lot, and it's going to be light and intermittent showers that we're dealing with today during the day. And you can see that here, just spotty showers, nothing really crazy. When we get in the overnight, we're going to have that frontal boundary that went through yesterday move back northward as a warm front, and that's going to increase precipitation late in the overnight. See this moving up to the north? Everything was going west to east prior to this. See that? West to east, and then all of a sudden it starts going south to north, and that's because Debby is now moving north, and it's forcing that boundary further to the north also. So we will have late in the overnight and during the day on Thursday, we're going to have more numerous scattered showers on Thursday throughout the entire day. Okay, and this is the high-resolution rapid refresh. Coming into the picture here at the end of this run on Thursday evening, Debby is down here, okay? And it's going to be moving northward, kind of like that, okay? So that is going to bring rain in here for Friday. That's what we're dealing with. Here's the NAM, long-range NAM. Again, this is that early Friday. You see it sitting down here. Look where it's going. Again, all the heavier rain is initially going to be in western Pennsylvania, central PA. We are going to have some rain move in to our eastern areas, but again, it's going to be shorter duration, so we're not going to be dealing with a tremendous amount of rain with this as this swings through. But this gets to early Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. Look what's happening. It's moving out. You have a leftover shower in northeastern areas upon its exit, and then clouds are going to be way to sun, and it's going to be a nice weekend after that point. For the remainder of the weekend. Here's the National Hurricane Center track, and look what it's doing. It is now moving this cone to the west, tracking it right over south central PA and heading northeast from there, accelerating as it does so. When it gets to our region, it will be a post-tropical depression, which means it is no longer a warm chord system, which is a tropical system when it's down here. It's still a tropical storm, tropical depression over southern Virginia. It is now a post-tropical depression once it gets to our latitude, which means it is now a cold core system, which is a regular low pressure. That's it. That's all we're dealing with at that point. Here's the ensemble tracks this evening, and again, very similar. Once it goes over, makes landfall near Myrtle Beach or thereabout, it comes over southern Virginia and tracks directly over our area. These are all the ensemble tracks, which are now much further west. Yesterday, they were looking like they were going to come up here like this and head out in the Delmarva. That's not happening because the trough is not catching it fast enough. It's a little delayed, and that delay is allowing that turn to take place later. Okay, and what's the implications of that now? Here's what we have for total rainfall. Because this track is now off here to the west and is going like this over our region, we're still going to get 2 to 4 inches of rain, I think, but you have a little bit of enhancement, a southeasterly wind, southeast of that track here, pushing against the mountains here. So you could have a little enhancement in those areas that are circled. That's why it's higher there. But the remainder of the area is generally 2 to 4 inches. And that is total rainfall, not just from Friday, but everything from today through Thursday and Friday. This is all the way through the end of the event Friday night, okay? This is the total precipitation for that entire period before this finally moves out. This is it, okay? Precipitation total. That's what we got. So because it's showing this, I think this is a reasonable amount of rain over the next couple of days. But again, I just broke it down for you, again, giving you context, not just throwing up maps and showing you pretty maps and hoping you get it. Today is going to be intermittent light showers, hit or miss, not really a big deal. Once we get into the overnight, late in the overnight, we have that shower chances increase, more frequency of showers that will continue throughout the entire day here on Thursday. But it will remain cloudy over the next 2 days, a little bit cooler, as you see above me. 70 to 76 today, 72 to 76. Not much difference here for Thursday. Friday's going to warm up a little bit just because that low pressure is pulling in some warm air from the south as it moves northward, the post-tropical system. And that's about it. That's all we have for precipitation from this. And this is going to move out of the picture here by the time we get to Saturday morning. And then we're going to be mostly sunny here on Sunday in its wake, and mostly sunny on Monday as well. Tuesday is going to be a partly cloudy day, and temperatures there are going to be very temperate, lower 80s, so it's going to be pretty nice as we head into early next week. As far as wind concerns, because we have to mention this now because we have this track moving a little bit farther west. It's not offshore. Since it's moving over central PA now, we have a little bit of a wind concern. Not really much, but a little bit. And so we'll get some wind gusts here, 15 to 25. Might get some gusts in the upper 20s once we get to near 30 as we get through the course of Friday afternoon. But that's about it. So because we have so much saturation, this normally wouldn't be a big deal. But because you're adding in, some wind gusts that are 25 to 30 with saturated ground, that might make a difference for at least a few outages. I don't think it's not going to be a big deal overall with outages, but I do think there is the potential for some as we get into Friday afternoon and early evening until this pulls away. And then we get to Saturday, that's a done deal too, okay? So we are looking at, still about 2 to 4 inches of rain. I think that's a pretty good safe estimate. Though when we get up here in the Poconos, up in the higher elevations, and the southeasterly wind pressing against the mountains, if it does in fact take this track in western Pennsylvania like this and goes like that, if it's doing that, it's going to pull in a southeasterly wind, and that pushes up against the mountain, squeezes out extra moisture. That's called orographic lifting, okay? But the remainder of the region, we're looking at generally 2 to as much as 4 inches of rain, but it looks like in the mountainous regions, if that orographic lift takes place, we could be talking about 5, maybe even 6 inches of rain in a few spots just in those higher elevations, okay? So we're going to continue to follow this here over the next couple of days. We have a couple of days to look at it. Just know that the next couple of days aren't going to be that big of a deal, especially today. Today's really not. It's just intermittent light showers with that boundary off to the south. As that moves back northward as a warm front on Thursday, we're going to increase those showers, the frequency, and the intensity, I guess, of the showers. It's not going to be extremely heavy, but it is going to increase in both intensity and frequency as it moves northward from late Wednesday night throughout the day here on Thursday, and then Friday is kind of ground zero day, if you will, where we have this system moving through. And it's mainly going to be Friday afternoon, evening, and at least part of the overnight before that lifts off to the north and east, and Saturday's looking a lot better than it did a few days ago. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martis. That is your outlook for August 7th, 2024. Have a great Wednesday.